Here is something that will completely change how you touch your cat. You reach down, stroke their head, maybe scratch behind the ears, and run your hand along their back. You call it petting. It feels like affection, warm, simple, and familiar. But your cat? Your cat isn't experiencing what you think they are experiencing. They aren't receiving affection in the same way you are giving it, and they aren't processing your hand the way you process a hug from someone you love. What is actually happening inside their brain, their nervous system,
and their ancient social wiring, when you touch them, is far more layered, specific, and profound than most owners ever realize. To your cat, your touch isn't petting. It never was. It is something else entirely. Something rooted in the first days of their life, in the behavior of feral colonies, and in thousands of years of feline social evolution.
Once you understand what it actually is, you will never touch your cat the same way again. Let's go back to the very beginning, because this is where it gets truly fascinating. A kitten is born blind, deaf, and completely helpless. In those first weeks of life, the most important sensation in their world isn't sound or sight, it is touch. Specifically, the rhythmic, firm, repetitive licking of their mother's tongue across their body. That touch does everything. It stimulates breathing, regulates body temperature, and triggers digestion. It communicates safety, belonging, and the most fundamental message a young animal can receive. You are known. You are claimed. You are not alone. This behavior is called allogrooming, social grooming between members of the same group. And here is the critical thing: cats don't outgrow it. In feral colonies, bonded cats groom each other constantly. Adults groom kittens, and cats groom their closest companions.
It is the primary physical language of trust and social bonding in feline society. Now, here is the connection that changes everything.
When your cat feels your hand moving across their fur, the warmth, the pressure, the repetitive rhythm, their nervous system doesn't file it under human touch. It files it under the only category it has for that sensation: allogrooming, the touch of someone who belongs to them. You are not just petting your cat. In the language their nervous system speaks, you are grooming them. And that is no small thing. However, not all touch lands the same way. This is where most owners get it wrong, without even realizing it, and why a cat might suddenly pull away or flick their tail mid-pet. To your cat's nervous system, where you touch them communicates something highly specific, carrying meanings that go far beyond basic physical sensation. The head, the cheeks, the chin, and the base of the ears. These are the allogrooming zones. They are the places cats groom each other, loaded with scent glands that, when stimulated, release facial pheromones cats use to mark what is safe, familiar, and theirs. When you scratch your cat's chin or stroke their cheeks, you are touching the exact locations their biology associates with social bonding and trust. This is why most cats lean into head touches, why they push their face against your hand, and why they close their eyes.
Their nervous system is receiving a signal it completely recognizes. This is someone I trust. This touch means safety.
But the belly is completely different. The belly is exposed and vulnerable. In feline social terms, it is not a grooming zone between equals.
For many cats, a hand on the belly activates an entirely different set of instincts: protective, defensive, and easily overstimulated. It isn't aggression, it is simply a nervous system reacting to a signal it didn't expect and doesn't recognize as safe. When a cat shows you their belly, it is a gesture of trust. But that does not mean they are inviting you to touch it. The base of the tail is similar, highly sensitive, loaded with nerve endings. Some cats love it, but many do not. Always watch their response, not just their position. Their body will always tell you the truth. This brings us to the moment of overstimulation that almost nobody explains properly, causing more confusion than anything else. Your cat is on your lap, purring and relaxed. You are stroking them, and everything is perfect.
Then, out of nowhere, they bite you. Not hard, not viciously, but clearly signaling that they are done. You didn't change anything, so what happened?
Here is the science behind it. Repetitive touch, even when pleasant, gradually builds sensory stimulation in a cat's nervous system. Unlike dogs, who can seemingly enjoy extended petting indefinitely, cats have a much lower threshold for sensory overload. The exact same stroke that felt like comforting alolo grooming at minute 1 starts to feel like overwhelming overstimulation at minute 5.
The signals their nervous system sends shift from pleasure to irritation, leaving them with only one communication tool left.
The bite is not aggression. It is the final signal after a series of warnings you likely missed. Long before the bite, your cat was already telling you.
Their tail began to flick, not a slow, contented sway, but a sharp, metronome-like twitch at the tip. The skin on their back rippled slightly, their ears rotated fractionally backward, and their body became subtly tense.
These are the sentences before the punctuation. Once you learn to read them, you will never get to the bite again. Because you will have answered their request long before it happens. Understanding this reframes the entire relationship, especially when you realize what they are giving you in return. When your cat rubs their face against your hand before you've even started touching them, that isn't impatience. That is them grooming you first. They are depositing their scent on your skin, marking you as part of their social group before the exchange even begins. When they headbutt you, a behavior known as bunting, they are pressing the most scent-rich part of their body against you.
This is not just a request for attention. It is a declaration. You are mine. You carry my scent. You belong to my world.
When they need your lap while you stroke them, that slow, rhythmic pressing of the paws, they are reverting to the very first days of their life with their mother, experiencing the safest, most comforting sensation their nervous system has ever known. You have made them feel that profoundly safe.
And when they purr, not the alert purr, but the deep, resonant, slightly rough rumble of a completely settled cat.
Their body is producing vibrations between 25 and 150 hertz. These are frequencies that studies show can promote bone density, reduce inflammation, and
They aren't just expressing contentment, they are physiologically regulating themselves through sound, and they are doing it because of your touch.
focus your touch on the allo-grooming zones, the head, cheeks, chin, and the base of the ears. These locations register as social bonding, not sensory intrusion. Moving forward, let your cat initiate first, always. When they push toward your hand, rub against you, or headbutt, that is the invitation. Respond to it, but don't reach first. Watch the tail closely. The moment it starts to flick with any sharpness, stop. Not because you did something wrong, but because you have done enough. Ending the interaction on their terms builds far more trust than any extended petting session ever will. Keep it short and meaningful. 3 minutes of touch, where your cat is fully present, is worth much more than 20 minutes that they are merely tolerating. Every time your cat closes their eyes under your hand and leans into you, they are telling you that they feel safe, that they are known, that in the ancient, wordless vocabulary of their species, you are family. You aren't just petting your cat, you are speaking to them in the only language that... If you found this helpful, make sure to hit subscribe and share. Check out the video on screen for more feline secrets.
Wow, that was so much fun! Don't forget to click that big red subscribe button and ring the bell so we can learn together every day. Share this video